Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Books the House Down. It has been a minute since I have come on here to talk about books, but here I am now. Summer has been summering. I have been too busy trying to spend time with my friends and enjoy my city again. Toronto in the summertime is my absolute favorite. Yeah, I feel weird doing this. I kind of almost feel shy. But I have like 3 months of books to catch you guys up on, so I'm going to do it now. This is going to be super informal. I'm probably not going to talk too much about the books in the sense of like what it's about, or like read the little description on the back or whatever, because y'all can do that on your own time. This is more going to be like a really informal, quick check-in. These are the books that I read this summer, how I feel about them, vibe check, do they slay or nay? Yikes. If I am looking down, it's because I have notes. Dude, I am so out of practice. Okay, I'm gonna start with my May stack. Some of these books I don't have here with me because they are either a library copy or I'd lent it out to a friend. But the first book I'll talk about is Some of My Best Friends by Taja Isin. I'll insert a picture here to my friend who's currently reading it. But it was also gifted to me from another friend, my friend Zoe, out in BC. When I went to BC back in May, had bought it for me, which was like super nice and kind of them. That book I really enjoyed. It's basically a bunch of essays on Taja Isin's experience with being in the entertainment industry, being a child actor, or a voice actor, I guess. Taja Isin was the voice of Sister Bear in the Berenstain Bears. So she talks about that. She talks about her experience being in law school, specifically in Toronto, and her experience about that. Her experience with race and race issues, pertaining to being a Black woman. And yeah, it was really good. I ate it up really quick. Very insightful. Also touches on lip service. So Taja Isin likes to use the word, instead of like virtue signaling, likes to use the term lip service as in like someone who, how do I explain this? Comes off as they are aware and woke of modern day issues, but their actions say otherwise, or their money, where they put their money to, say otherwise. So she talks about that. Thought it was a good book. Wow, this is already, I have like over 20 books to get through. I need to make this more rapid, but I really did love that one. The next book I read, I actually have here, is called The Adult by Bronwyn Fisher. It takes place in Toronto. It's about a young queer girl who goes into university and her experiences, and that, kind of like a coming of age, sad girl novel. I wish I'd read this in the fall. This feels more of a fall book to me, but instead I read it at the beginning of May because that's when it came out and I was super excited about it. It takes place in Toronto. Any book that takes place in Toronto, I most likely will read it. So yeah, I thought this was okay. I was really wrapped up and interested in the story when I was reading it. But upon like further reflection and being away from it for some time, I don't think I loved it as much as I did when I first read it. Still good though, and I still would recommend, but I wouldn't rate it as high. The other book I read in May is called Emergent Strategy by Adrienne Marie Brown. This is an excellent book. Adrienne Marie Brown is an incredible woman. It talks about climate change and the change of our world, and basically like what we can do. I read this on the way to BC, and I was dealing with like a time change, so I don't think I soaked in as much information as I could have had. Yeah, so that's my fault. That's on me. Still great though, and I still would recommend. The next book is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This seems to be a lot of people's favorite book, and it also is up there for me. I was super sucked into the story. Beautiful novel about, I'm not gonna say what it's about. Beautiful book. I was sucked into it. This is a little more chunkier than most of the books I read. It's like over 400 pages. I think I usually stick to books that are like 300 or less. So it was a little bit daunting just looking at it, but it went by pretty quick. I was super intrigued. Beautiful writing. Now I'm really interested in picking up more with Ozeki. So that's that. I read Yellowface in May. I went to Vancouver's Writers Fest event that R.F. Kuang was speaking at. She's incredible. What else can I say that already hasn't been said about this book and R.F. and how brilliant she is as a person? I like this. There's a lot of mixed reviews out there on it, but I personally really like this book. It's like a hard left from like RF's usual writing, but also not like I haven't read anything else, so I don't know why I'm saying that, but I have friends that have read R.F. Kuang and enjoy the fantasy aspect of her writing, so this is a hard departure from that, and I really enjoyed it. I read it in like a day, 2 days. Yeah, I don't know, great book. You should read it. And then another book that I read, I think this is the last book that I read in May, I don't have physically with me here because I returned it to the library, was Concerning My Daughter by Kim Hae-jin. I believe that's how you say her name. It's translated from Korean, and I had saw Jack Edwards talk about it on one of his videos, and I think he raved about it, and so I was like, I'm gonna pick that up. I haven't read anything that was translated from Korean, and I hated it. I don't know what it was. Actually, I do know what it was, but I didn't like it. It mostly talked about this woman and her daughter who's queer and their tumultuous relationship, so mommy issues. It's given mommy issues a hard time. I don't know. It didn't vibe with me. I thought that the mom was like really not understanding, and I know like that was the whole point of the book, is that they're in turmoil, and but I don't know. I just didn't like it. It wasn't for me. Maybe you'll read it and you'll love it. Let me know. Also, I'm realizing that I have my fan on because it's super hot in the room, so if there is like buzzing in the background, I hope my mics don't really pick that up, but what can you do? Low budget over here. So we're gonna go into June books. And these are all the books that I read in June. I think I have about 11. We are not gonna count this one. This is a book that I tried to read. It's called Pony Boy by Elliot Duncan. I was super excited to read this. I tried to buddy read it with a friend. They hated it. I also hated it. That I DNF'd it. Something about it wasn't sticking with me. I think it was just like the writing and the pacing and the characters, but I just didn't like it, and that was sad because I thought this would be like right up my alley. So yeah, that's a book that I did kind of read. A book that I read then DNF is this. I think I've talked about this book before on my big fat book haul. Miss Major Speaks, Conversations with a Black Trans Revolutionary by Miss Major and Toshio Mironek. Incredible. Everybody who's queer needs to read the book. Everyone who's not queer needs to read this book. Elliot Page talked about it and said that the same thing, essentially. It's read like an interview with Miss Major and Toshio, and it's super thin but super impactful. 10 tens across the board with this one. Speaking of Elliot Page, I read Page Boy and saw Elliot Page speak at TIFF. My copy is signed. I didn't meet him. They were all signed beforehand, but that's just really exciting. I've loved Elliot Page's work ever since, I don't know. My partner and I were reflecting about it the other day, how much movies and stuff that Elliot Page is in that we like absolutely love and dig. But this, I love this. I ate this up. Covers a lot of topics, transness, queerness, being in the entertainment industry, discovering yourself. I saw that someone reviewed this. I think it was Allison Page's. I think she said she didn't really enjoy it. She really did enjoy the reading, the writing style, and how it kind of is like back and forth, or it isn't like a cohesive timeline of things. But I think that's what I enjoyed about this. I thought it was different. Was sucked in. He has lived such a harrowing life and has gone through so much. There's bits of him living in Toronto, which I always love to read about. It's crazy to know that like he was taking the same buses that I have taken, or like hanging out in the same areas that I have when he first moved to Toronto as a young child. So that was cool. Really loved this. Yeah. The next book is Gods of Want by K-Ming Chang. This is a collection of short stories. K-Ming Chang also wrote Bestiary. I'm so bad with pronouncing things sometimes. The first story in this is incredible. I should also say that I only picked up this book because my friend Danny, who I'll link down below, recommended this and was on a K-Ming Chang train. Oh my gosh. And so yeah, she put me on to this and I thought it was absolutely incredible. The first story I think I reread 2 times, and I will say it was a really strong start, and so I expected the rest of the book to be just as good as the first story, and it didn't really hold up, but I still enjoyed it. Still think she is an incredible writer. Queer as well. We love to read queer stories. So yes, I would recommend this actually. Another book I read was Good Girl by Anna Fitzpatrick. I got this at Flying Books, which is also the publisher that is a bookstore here in Toronto. They've come out with 3 books. The Marlos Granado book, which is called, oh no, I have to look at my shelf now because I forgot what it's called. Oh, Happy Hour. I read that last year and I thought it was okay. I liked it. It was very much like a city girl, young 20s, having fun, and that's fun to read sometimes. And this, I think I liked more, actually. It, again, loosely takes place in Toronto, I believe. Just about like almost like a second coming of age, because the character in this book is like in her later 20s and she's going through almost like a second puberty, a second rediscovering of herself. But I thought it was really good. So I would recommend this one. This next one is Liarmouth by John Waters. Actually, Liarmouth, A Feel Bad Romance by John Waters. John Waters, obviously an iconic director, writer in the queer community. I've never read any of his works before. This was my first one, and wow, this blew me away. This is so kooky. I have been craving to find another kooky book like this, like a book that makes me feel this way, where the characters are just so like indescribable. Like they're so bright and loud and like kooky and dysfunctional, but it makes for like a really good story. So yeah, I think this is one of the standout books of the year for me, so that's saying a lot. So yeah, this is Liarmouth by John Waters. I would recommend this one. And this one is Rest is Resistance, A Manifesto by Trisha Hersey, founder of the NAP ministry. when I saw this book first came out, I was like, yes, rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, taking care of yourself and your community. Love it. It's a fairly short book. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed bits of it. I definitely had underlined a few things. The thing that threw me off though is that I think Trisha is Christian, and the NAP ministry, kind of, the terms in it are very Christian-y. I know it's a play on it, like it's not literal. But something about that, I have Christian trauma, is all I'm gonna say. So something about that threw me off. I did find it was a little bit repetitive. I enjoy the ideas and I enjoy reading it. But yes, I would recommend, but not like a hard recommendation. Yes, that's my thoughts on that. My pile of the books that I've already shown you is starting to like stack up and fall, so I have to be careful and gentle there. This next book is The Bear by Claire Cameron. I did not expect to enjoy this book so much. I picked it up at a secondhand bookstore close by my house. It just seemed to intrigue me. I think I was in the mood to think of something like adventure-y and quick pace, which is not usually the route that I go for, but I did, and I'm so glad I did. It made me cry. This book made me cry. It's about these two kids and their family. They are camping somewhere and they encounter a bear. And you can kind of guess what's gonna go on, but I'm not gonna explain anything else. But it is excellent. If you're looking for like, it's almost like, it almost reads as a thriller, almost. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. What am I doing? But I enjoyed this, so I would recommend. Another book that I read in June is called All This Could Be Different, a novel by Sarah Van Cam Matthews. This came to me as a recommendation from a friend of mine that works at a bookstore here in Toronto, and I was so glad I read this. I don't know if I would have picked this up. I mean, I think I would have, because look at how gorgeous that cover is. But I wasn't sure if I would be into it. But whoa, this sucked me in. I was so invested in the character, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I really enjoyed this book. It also made me cry. I read it, I read the last words, but I couldn't cry, actually. I couldn't cry because I was at a cafe, but I really wanted to. So I was like in a really weird mood after that. So do with that information what you will. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but here. But All This Could Be Different, I would recommend. Another book that I read, I think this is the last book I read in June. I don't have it with me. I lent it to my friend, so I'll put a picture here. It's called, let me move my notes. Woman Without Men, a novel of modern Iran by Shashranush Parisipur. I believe that's how you say her name. Again, came to me as a recommendation from a friend that works at a bookshop who also did like part of their thesis on this book, and this book also is a movie, so recommended me to watch the movie. I haven't yet. I really want to because of how much I enjoyed this book. Basically almost short stories but like with characters that connect. Apparently it's classic Iranian feminist text. And the writing was just so beautiful. Oh, I forgot who it's translated by. I'll put it here somewhere. But I really enjoyed it so much that I lent it to my friend and was like, please read this. It was so good. So now I'm like interested in watching the movie. So those are all the books I read in June. And I guess this will be my last stack, which is books that I read in July. Oh gosh. So these are all the books that I read in July. I'm gonna start with this one, Pure Color by Sheila Heti. I finally got around to this. I feel like this book was everywhere in the past year or so. That green color is gorgeous. and this cover is really gorgeous. Sheila Heti is an author that I read before. I've read Motherhood and I really enjoyed it, but I will say Sheila Heti gives me smart girl material, and I don't know if I would put myself in the smart girl category. Sometimes I feel like I read some of her work and stuff flies a little bit over my head, but I did enjoy this. It's about a girl who basically, no, I'm not going to tell you. If you don't know anything about this, where have you been? But also, that's fine, and maybe just read it and just tell me what you think. I have mixed feelings about this. I enjoyed bits of it. I did think it was a little bit too smart for me. I think I just read it to read it because I wanted to know what it was about, and I think it's just hard for me to admit that maybe it wasn't for me. Read it if you want to read it, but also, I don't know. I don't think I'd necessarily recommend this to everybody. It's either a love it or you hate it book, and I will say that. This next book I read, I brought from the library, Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. Why did it take me this long to read this book? Classic lesbian-ish novel. Came out like over 50 years ago. So there's stuff in here that is a little, you know, in today's climate, but that's what it's like reading classics that are a little bit older, or books that are older in general, partaking in media that's a little bit older. So there's some questionable things in here, but I did love it. I thought the main character was so strong. I just thought she was very loud, and so she just like knows herself so well, and she pushes the boundaries of society at that time. She's so cool. I would definitely befriend her if we were in the same universe. So I would recommend. Yes, recommend Ruby Fruit Jungle by Rita Mae Brown. Also didn't know, but Rita Mae Brown was very involved with gay lesbian rights back in the day. So that's cool. I was reading up on her when I was reading this, and she seems like a cool person. So yes, would recommend. This book is called Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfeld. I wish I had the other cover of this because it's so gorgeous. I believe it's a UK cover. I'll insert it here somewhere. I wanted to love this, but I didn't. I read it for book club, Gay Rights Book Club, and I didn't end up attending the Zoom because I fell asleep because I was too tired. Yeah, and I also felt conflicting about coming onto the Zoom late and being like, I hated this book. But yeah, I wanted to love it. There's something that didn't hit. I don't know, I just didn't connect to it as well. I thought it dragged on a little bit. I kind of saw the ending. It was very predictable. My friend Zoe also felt the same way, and we're pretty on par with our books and our reading taste. So yeah, sad that I didn't enjoy this. I wouldn't recommend. I do see people enjoying it though, so maybe it is for you. Wow, can you tell that I'm a Libra? I'm being so back and forth here. But personally, I wouldn't recommend it. So there's that. What We Do in the Dark by Michelle Hart. Another queer, almost coming of age-ish novel. I can't tell you a single thing about this novel. That is how unimpressionable it was on me. I finished it and was like, this feels like an amalgamation of like different novels that I've read before. Same story, almost. Yeah, I don't know, just didn't really do it for me. I can't really remember much that went on, so I wouldn't recommend. I listened to the audiobook of this, Ali Wong, Dear Girls. This is a book, memoir that she wrote to her two girls, her two daughters. Really funny. I got a little bit annoyed at times with this. I did enjoy it. I did find some of it really funny, and I thought the concept was overall very cute, like writing letters to her two daughters, like advice. Yeah, I think I think if I read it, I probably would like kind of forget about it. But the fact that I was listening to it on audiobook, I think that was the best way for me to consume it, because it's Ali Wong reading it. Her delivery is really nice to hear. Yeah, I would recommend the audiobook. I don't know if I would recommend actually sitting down and reading it though. That's that on that. This is a poetry book called Sana Poems by Maria Bolanos. My friend Danny sent this book to me with this postcard. It says, "You are my jolly babe." So if you didn't know, now you know. I am Filipino. My friend Danny also is Filipino, and we are on our journey of reading Filipino books. And so she sent this to me through the mail, which was absolutely lovely. She actually has a list of Filipino books and recommendations, and I will link that and share that with y'all. But wow, this was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Talks about being Filipino, being part of the diaspora. I would recommend. It's super short, super sweet, made me teary-eye. Very cute. This book is All's Well by Mona Awad. I read this because I have not read any Mona Awad, and the anticipated book of the year is Rouge by Mona Awad, I think coming out in either September or October. And so I wanted to read some of her work, and I didn't like this. I really wanted to like this, and I didn't. And it's a chunker. Like, it's a bigger book for me. I just thought that the characters were annoying. I thought the main character was annoying. It was just, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend. Yes, I do want to pick up other Mona Awad just to see if her books are for me. I tried to read Bunny, but I don't think I was in the right headspace for it. It also seems like a very like fall autumnal book. So I put it down and picked this one up instead, and I didn't like it. So I wouldn't recommend. Second last book that I'll talk about here in this video is Stories from the Tenants Downstairs by Siddiq Fofana. I wanted to like this. But something about it didn't hit for me. It's written in AAVE, which is really cool to see. I feel like I know these characters. I feel like I grew up with them. I think my brain was not focused on this book. I think I had lots of other books I was thinking about while I was reading this book, and so I don't think I digested it as well as I would have. I was just very distracted while reading this book is what I'm trying to say. I would recommend, actually. I'm curious to see if other people enjoy this book. I think it was Ivana that told me that she enjoyed it, and she had mentioned it in one of her videos. I'll link Ivana down below as well. But yeah, I didn't really enjoy it, didn't love it, didn't hate it, mixed feelings. But I would recommend to see if people I just want to know people's thoughts, is what I'm trying to say. Wow, I haven't done this in a minute. Can you tell? This is my last book that I'll mention. This is Half Breed by Maria Campbell. Maria Campbell is a Indigenous Métis woman in Canada. This book has been around for a while. I forgot what year it came out. Oh, originally published in 1973. Basically almost like a memoir, talks about how Indigenous people were treated, and specifically Métis people were treated at the time, and I guess today as well. But it was really harrowing. It was really tough to read at times, but I think it was important. I do recommend this book, and I think more people need to read Indigenous stories, including myself. Yeah, I would recommend this book. And I don't know if I can hold on to these. No, I don't think I can. Like that. Death by books. So these are all the books that I read in May, June, July, and August. Oh my gosh, if you hear loud sounds, there's an air show going on right now in Toronto, which I absolutely hate. But it like is so loud. Anyways, I'm gonna go before that disrupts any more of this. So, what have you guys been reading? How has your summer been? Talk to me in the comments below. I miss y'all. I don't know why I haven't posted in 2 months. Actually, I do know why, but I don't want to do that again. That was way too long. And now I had to like literally pay catch up and do this. Anyways, bye guys.